Zevia. It's a Zevia 0 cal energy drink. If you drink like the Zevia sodas, they're pretty delicious.
Yeah, and then I'll tell you too, but like I went to the storage place and this big thing happened, and like these cops came on last Saturday.
Okay, here you can put these on. See how it sounds. Mic check 1 2 1 2. If you want to adjust volume or anything, you can. Just right over here.
I think my head's too big.
Your head's too big? You can also pull them down a little bit. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, feel free to adjust that thing.
Oh, shit. It's good.
It sounds nice, right? Yeah. Try to just, the whole time, just the only thing, try to keep it about a fist distance from your face. So you can move it around, do anything you want. Yeah.
I think it's good here.
Yeah.
As long as you can see me.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice. How you doing today?
Good.
Good.
Amazing.
Nice.
How are you?
I'm doing great as well. Nice to see you. It's been a while.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
I don't know how long. What?
Probably since the Jordan Peterson thing, I think.
It's the last February, right?
Yeah.
Or January.
Is that when it was?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So this January then, right?
Yeah. How many months that is? And I call it COVID time. It's half the time you don't even know.
Yeah.
Yeah, 8 months ago or something.
Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was pretty cool. Dressed to the nines.
Yeah. That was a good event.
Yeah.
And then the Toastmasters stuff and all that.
Oh, look at this. I just fucking spill. It's not good for the official sponsor. Official sponsor of the podcast, Zevia. Thank you. How you doing today?
Yeah, you know, I'm working through some stuff.
Yeah.
I'm alive. I'm thriving. I'm in Arizona.
Nice. So you were just on the East Coast for a little bit?
Well, I was in Bali, Indonesia for 4.5 months.
Oh, wow.
But when you're there, things are so slow, so you really don't know a month from like 2 weeks. Like there's not really deadlines and things to do like the pace in America.
Yeah.
And then I went from there back to Massachusetts, where I grew up.
Nice.
Visited my family, did like a camping trip, went up to Maine for a week. So I saw a friend's family. And then I came back to Arizona, where all the fun started.
Nice. Wow.
2021, I drove out here. So.
Okay, wow, yeah. What was the reason for going to Bali? Just to travel for a little bit?
So I drove to Arizona in 2021, like across the country, actually from Maine, like a fully packed Honda Civic up to the brim.
Wow, you drove it?
Yeah.
No flight, just drove your shit over here?
Yes. So it was like the car was so filled up that I swear to God, you couldn't even put a piece of paper. Like there'd be stuff just falling on me.
Oh,
it wasn't safe. The seat was up.
Can't see through the rearview mirror.
Yeah, really bad.
Yeah.
You can't see out the side mirror either.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Huh.
so 50 hours. But so my family was like, why don't you fly? And I was like, well, there's a difference between driving and flying.
As far as
Different
cost?
Oh, no. I wasn't even thinking about the cost. Well, there's that difference too. I was just thinking about the experience.
Wow.
Okay, what would it be like to drive across the country alone?
Yeah, versus fly.
And versus fly.
Much shittier driving. It's the experience.
Yeah, but
No.
not forced. Like I'm so used to doing fast-paced things, but take my time. You know, stop, and I never create agendas or anything, so I don't actually be like, oh, I'm going to stay in this place even when I travel.
Yeah.
But like Nashville, I want to stop in.
Nice.
Maybe in Texas.
Maybe just hit like hot spots or like main, places that I'm gonna stop in while on my way.
Yeah, so I had that whole experience, and it actually was really good.
How long did it take? Did you do it like over a week or two or something, or how'd you do it?
So you can go right across like the Midwest in maybe 42 hours, and ends up being like 45. But I went through down Pennsylvania, Nashville, stayed there for 2 nights, went on the Strip a little bit, and then through Texas, and then New Mexico. I went to White Sands, and then I went to something, the Carlsbad Taverns, I believe it was called. Okay. And then I came right up through a monsoon. It was
wow.
I didn't know what a monsoon was, and I was coming to drive out. So it took 50 hours, but I was exhausted. So that got me to Arizona. And then my whole thing, like I was saying, is like, I believe like the decisions that we make like if we make the decisions now, we can increase the probability of anything that we want.
Sure. Yeah.
By a lot. I'm not going to say you're going to get everything.
Yeah.
I believe I can get everything, but
yeah.
it's your belief, really.
Yeah, absolutely.
But so I don't like to like own anything or like to put constrictions on me or coming to Arizona, I didn't have any friends or family. So it's like, it's all up to me. And I was in 2021, I'm still into my business, but I was really in the growth stages of it.
Yeah.
It was my
Beginning stages. When
yeah.
did you first start the business?
I started in 2017, like learning. You have to go through like a phase of that.
Sure.
And I just wanted to help people online travel the world. And I
Yeah.
didn't know how. I had no skill sets in doing that. And I was just 23 years old. But then I didn't start to making money until 2020. And then, so I've been earning money in business for 3.5 years.
Nice.
And a big strategy was coming out to Arizona and kind of secluding myself from what I knew and like recreating myself and getting away from love you guys, friends and family. But the mindset.
Sure.
Like an entrepreneur mindset versus the 9 to 5 and abundance mindset versus lack and complaining about bills versus being like, I have light on today.
Yeah.
So obviously it's worth it.
Sure.
You know, so
Yeah, I was just talking about that with a friend that like I had to just for a certain period of my life cut off a significant portion of my friends, sacrifice a social life to just work on myself for a while. You know, I had 2 jobs at a period and I was working multiple 16-hour days in a row. And when you do that, there's just not enough time for a social life. Maybe you've got a day here on the weekend or, you know, a few hours here, but I was realizing I was spending it with just not good influences. People who, like you said, are maybe just working a 9 to 5 or working just, you know, some shitty job that they don't care to better themselves. And it's a difference in not only just mindset, but it's like, you know, that saying like you're the average of the 5 people that you surround yourself with. It's absolutely true. Like if you're being with people who are, you know, just don't have any goals or uninspiring or uninteresting people, it brings you down. When you're surrounding yourself or hanging out and associating with people who are, you know, wealthier than you, who are interesting people, driven, it doesn't actually necessarily have to be wealthier, but if they have like an ideal, they're something they're pursuing towards, those type of people will help you, it will bring you in the other direction. They bring you in a positive way.
Right. So sometimes you just got to take yourself, and I did it through like books and paid mentors and people online because I couldn't find that where I was from. Because the culture even there to Arizona is much different than talking Bali culture. So all these different areas have different types of people. And
So
stuff.
it was Boston that you grew up in?
20 minutes north, Wakefield, suburb of Boston.
Okay.
So it's
20 minutes north of like the city.
of Boston.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's even more fast paced there. People are kind of closed minded, not so friendly, but they're just all about doing business. And
In Boston, you're saying it's closed-minded people?
yeah. Why?
I don't know.
Oh, you're
Just
saying
like-
here is too?
No, I mean, just in general, there's probably closed-minded people everywhere, but I haven't necessarily experienced it. My dad's born and raised in Brooklyn, so I've got like I guess an East Coast influence to me as well. But you don't have like a thick Boston accent or anything. Is that just more from the people in the city, or is that just
That's
a different...
like the city, people directly in Boston. 20 minutes north is a huge difference. You go from
really?
city to suburb.
I guess it's also like northern areas of New York. They don't really have an accent either.
Yeah, exactly. And then you bring me out of the country, I have an accent.
Yeah.
But Americans don't think they have accents.
Yeah, exactly.
But, to wrap this back around, so I came back, I went out to Arizona, was focused on that stuff, and I was very particular with like for me personally, for the vision, like you said it perfectly, working towards, I think Earl Nightingale calls it a worthy ideal.
Yeah.
That's worthy of you because you're trading your life for it.
Earl's the man, by the way.
The progressive realization of a worthy ideal is what his definition of success.
Yes.
And that's like when most people are like, oh, that job, like, am I worthy of it? But
Yeah.
you're
Say
trading
that
your
again.
life.
What is his definition of success?
Progressive, working towards something, realization, having, a breakthrough of a worthy ideal, of a goal, of a vision. So when you're working towards something, you're a success. So if you're the mother and you want to have a family, and truthfully in your heart, or the father want to have a family, and that's what you want, you're a success.
Yeah.
But for me, I want to have much more. So I'm still a
Much
success.
more kids.
No kids.
Much more than one wife. No. It's whatever a worthy ideal is.
I want to have plenty of kids.
Yeah.
It's whatever it is for you.
Yeah, it's whatever your worthy ideal is.
And you take a responsibility for that. So if you are working at 9 to 5 and you love that, it's great. For me, that's not my ideal. So I wouldn't call that a success if I was doing that.
Yeah.
So you have to take a responsibility, and not only that, you have to get clarity on what you really want to be, do, and have.
For sure.
So I knew what I wanted, and I knew traveling, right? Traveling around the world, you don't need stuff for that. And I combine business and growth with like a spiritual path as well, which a lot of people on the East Coast don't do. Because it's like, oh, if you're spiritual, you're like you're not a guy, right?
Yeah.
But I think it's
you just live in your van.
Yeah. So
That's the spiritual path.
Right.
It's important to have those two, like a conjunction between those two.
Well, I think if you could be a spiritual, like just for me, it's like, in science it's called energy and stuff like that, and religion it's God, whatever. I don't care. I just believe in something, right? And I don't care what other people believe. And
something that's immeasurable.
Exactly, because you don't want to be nihilistic and not believe. I mean, people can be, but I don't. That's not my path.
Sure. Yeah.
Right? So I want to have faith. I want to have a good foundation, and that's like one of my mentors taught me all that. And then out of that, I can stack everything on top, because I talk to so many people. They have millions of dollars, or like you said, wealth, but they're miserable. And I'm like, why is that? Or health first. We talked about that a little bit.
Yeah.
So these things are like so much before.
Oh, for sure.
Before even and money and all that is health.
Yeah.
And
Satisfaction, health for sure. Health is probably the number one, because you could have all the money in the world, but if you can't walk and you're fucking, just struggling just to get up or breathe, or massively overweight, then what does it matter?
Doesn't. But the thing is, it takes people to be in that situation to realize that is the issue, or to become a multi-millionaire to be like,
To realize that it's not satisfactory.
yeah, and then they go down the journey of like what's more versus just doing that as you grow.
Interesting.
So I've talked to too many people that I know that's real. So you put that first now, and then you have like a life of longevity. You can make all the money you want.
Yeah.
And you can have a pretty damn good life, right? So how I got to Bali, wrap it all up. I didn't forget.
Yeah.
So I was in Tempe at this point. So I would go back for the summer, and I came back to Tempe. I haven't looked for an apartment since 2020. And obviously that has its pros and cons. But this place, my friend was like, I got a room available, and it's this amount of money. And I was like, I'll take it, or whatever. I don't care.
Sure.
It didn't work out the way I wanted. So my other friend, he does travel blogging. He's very successful. He just travels around, writes blog articles. That's what he does for a living. Very good guy. And he said he went to 12. Have you heard of like retreats, like entrepreneur retreats or stuff like that?
Yeah, for sure.
He traveled for 6 months last year. He did like 12 or 13 retreats. Like, it's just ridiculous. That's like a retreat every 2 weeks, two a month, essentially. And he's like, you got to go to...
and each of them are what, like a week long or something?
At least.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So it's like...
just retreat after retreat. At some point, you got to start taking some action, maybe.
Yeah, you got to integrate that stuff is the key. But he was like, there's this one in Bali, and it's called like the Nomad Escape. But it's not just for like... When I say spiritual, it's not someone living... In my viewpoint, it's not like... That's not like it's not someone just living in a van because they can't like afford things. It's like someone that's well put together but has big faith in themselves and belief, all that, right? So it's a big difference. So the Nomad Escape is for digital entrepreneurs. Okay, so he was like, you should go there, and I was going through all this stuff at the last apartment, and I was like, this is a good opportunity, just go. Yeah. And I've started to live, like one of my mentors taught me to start to live by my gut more than logic, like or you could call it your intuition if you want to go that way. So I was like, my intuition, my gut was like, you should like go. I didn't know, again, I didn't know where I was staying. I didn't know Bali's a 30-hour flight. Wow. One way.
What the hell?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's like in Asia, is Bali in?
Indonesia, so just very south down, an island over there near Australia.
Wow.
So the
30-hour flight one way. Is that nonstop?
No, I wish. No, seriously, three or four in a row. So it's like getting off a bus and going on to another bus.
Oh,
but
God.
the fresh faces of people, because they're all like, "Oh, the 6-hour flight." Yeah. I'm like, "Well, I'm on an hour 28."
Yeah.
My eyes are bleeding. Okay. I'm like, you don't even know what time zone it is.
Yeah,
because it's 14 hours ahead.
Wow.
So as you're going that way,
going in different time zones each
they're
one.
all messed up.
You have like layovers, times in between. You're getting blackout drunk in the pit stops.
So how I got to Bali was that the flight back was horrendous. I'll talk about that after. But I got there, I did that retreat. So it's like basically Bali is a big, but a part of it called Uluwatu. And the retreat was there at like amazing villas. The cost of living in Bali is very cheap. But obviously
That's what I've heard. You can have like a 5-star resort, super nice, for like $10 a night or something. Is that what it is? Is that the rate?
I don't know about that.
Oh, no, not that cheap?
So you got social media, as you know. It can be a little, give you an illusion of what it actually is.
Yeah, maybe it's like 2 hours from the main location.
If you want to go and seclude yourself,
yeah,
like 3 hours out, you can pay prices like that. But if you're like want to be around society and stuff and meet people, it's still going to be, not like the USA, because the USA is typically, compared to other countries, more expensive. But
what is it? What like at the place you stayed? You know, like what like the monthly rate was or nightly rate? Did you stay at like a hotel, or was it like the retreat was like a one price package for everything?
I stayed 6 or 7 or 8 places.
Oh, really?
So I'm trying to think which one.
Yeah.
So let me tell you.
Like an average.
So I went to the retreat, and then there was like a build week. So I was there for 2 weeks, and then I didn't know where I was going to stay after. Mm-hmm. And then some people at the retreat were like, "Let's go out to dinner." And I don't have my smell and taste, by the way. So I lost.
You don't have your smell and taste?
Talk about health, yeah.
Oh, from COVID?
2.5 years ago, I believe. I never got tested for it, but yeah, I got really sick as a dog for 19 days.
Oh, wow.
Never got it back.
Wow, and never got smell and taste back?
No.
Right now, you still can't smell or taste anything?
No, I can't smell how bad you smell or
no.
me.
I haven't been wearing deodorant lately, so that's good.
I would love to smell how bad you smell.
Yeah.
That would be like, if I could just sniff myself, it'd be a blessing.
Oh, wow.
No, seriously, I'm not even, it would.
Yeah, it's one of your senses that you just haven't been able to experience for a while. 2 of them.
So we've 5 senses, and 2 of them are just not there. So
wow.
And building a business on top of that, it's been a mental journey.
Huh.
A big mindset shift.
So you may just like probably don't even go to nice dinners or anything. It's like, what's the point?
Yeah. I mean, I try to avoid it, but socially in business, going on dates.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
I mean,
that's just
the
part of
last
life.
place I went, there was a $75 steak.
Oh, yeah.
And eating that thing and then not tasting it is a different world.
Wow. Yeah, that fucking sucks. I love a nice steak.
Paying for stuff and you can't taste it is tough.
Yeah. So not tasting food, that's one of the great joys of life. Going out to dinner, a really nice place, is one of my favorite things in the world to do. Yeah. With friends, have a couple appetizers, a nice steak, a couple old fashions. It's a nice experience.
So imagine that. You can't taste everything, so you're just like, everyone's like, it's so good.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, and then you're paying for it.
Yeah.
But you have to like really use like a perception change. You got to shift your mind and then be like, it will.
This texture is great.
The sodium's great. This texture is amazing. Yeah, no, seriously, you do that. And then traveling, and what's a big part of traveling is the culture, and where does that come from? Food. So Bali has some of the most whole foods, best tasting foods.
Wow.
And then you've heard the things about America with the processed foods, and you got to be careful and all that. And obviously, there's a whole rabbit hole with that.
Sure.
In Bali, none of it's processed. So I went there and I didn't even change my diet. I lost like 8 pounds.
Wow. A lot of people say that.
8 pounds just fell off me.
That's crazy. A lot of people say that. They'll go to different countries and just lose weight while eating anything because it's just locally sourced or just it's not been through all this fucking shit. One thing I realized, I go to the farmer's market when they do it over here locally, and I bought some pasta there one time, and it was fucking expensive. I was like talking to the lady. I'm like, is there a big difference? Like, what's your main difference between eating this pasta and like just the stuff you buy from the store? She's like, the biggest difference for me is that I don't feel bloated after I eat it. And I was like, well, that's odd. She's like, everything in the store, they cut the pasta and then blast it with this shit so it has a long shelf life. She just has a home kitchen. She just makes this pasta at her house. And so I bought some, I ate it. I had like this massive pasta meal and I didn't feel bloated at all. And I was like, what? Yeah. I just thought pasta equals bloating. Like if you eat pasta, it's a lot, but it's not. It's the shit that they put on the pasta.
Yeah, man.
So
it's and even if you eat all organic, it's still here.
Yeah.
America is amazing as a country, but there's certain nuances you gotta be. If you're not aware of that at all, you're gonna have health issues. And so Bali, it's all that. You eat stuff, you lose weight, it's cheap. The rent. Okay, to answer your question again, I'm really good at. We're talking about good stuff here, but I want to make sure I answer your question too. Mm-hmm. So I went to dinner, and then I wasn't even gonna eat dinner because I looked at the menu and. Typically, it's all great food, but this place was like gross, like processed stuff. So then I can't taste it. So I'm like,
you don't want to eat that.
I'm gonna pay this, eat it, and feel like shit. Like there's no benefit. So I didn't know why I was there really. And then I hear the girl next to me talking about, I need someone to sublet my apartment. I didn't have someone for next week. And I go, I'll take it. She goes, what? I go, are you looking for someone for your apartment? She's like, yeah. Do you want to go check it out? I was like, has anyone else said they're gonna take it? She's like, well, I'm talking to a couple people. I was like, I'll take it. Like, it's mine. And
sight unseen.
She's like, what's wrong with you? Look, I just like knew in my heart. And then, so that place I had it was a villa. So a 2-story villa. We had our own pool, stairs, it's really nice. Huge rooms, like massive rooms. And I think we each pay like $800 a month or $900 a month for 3 of us.
That's actually not as cheap as I imagined. I guess just in the city, it's just there's more people there.
I lucked out. There's not many. Everyone's like kind of traveling there. There's a mixture of all different types of people. Not many Americans. If you can get like a place for 500, but you're gonna might have cockroaches and I mean, it's that type of situation. You get what you pay for.
Yeah, sure.
So you have to rent probably, have 3 roommates, and I mean it's a villa,
Yeah.
But it wasn't like a massive one. But then my other friend flew in, the travel blogger, and we went to the spiritual part of Bali. It's called Ubud, or something like that. And there was a 5-bedroom villa, and we're like, should we rent it? We rented that, and we got a really good deal. We got like half off, but it was like a $20 million villa. It would have been like in the US. And 5 bedrooms, so we got like 2 each.
Wow. Nice.
It had like
Typical Americans just overdoing everything you get there.
It was like, dude, you walk in, there's 2 rooms here, you oversee the whole thing, 2 more down here, like a whole lobby. I think that was like for the week was like 1,500 or something.
Okay, interesting.
But we kind of like wanted to do that for the experience. And then after that, another place, I paid like $2,000 a month. So, but these were like for like really high quality places.
Like nice, like one of the nicest places.
Yeah. So if you want to have a nice place.
If it's a $10-15 million villa over here, it's obviously a pretty fucking nice place. Yeah.
So it's all relative, like what kind of lifestyle you want there. You can find
and you want to
somewhere.
experience those things too. Like when I go travel, I do like occasionally I'll get like a really nice hotel just to feel it and see what it's like. So you do that sometimes too. I actually saw you rented like a supercar once, right? Is that just to sort of get in the mindset of like, this is what's possible, this is stuff that people drive, or why did you do that?
So it's kind of like you write down everyone should, 97% of people don't have goals and they don't write them down, right?
Yeah.
So that's first off, you got to put on paper what you want in extreme detail. I really do believe this. That's what I did. And one of the experiences is I want to ride in a supercar. But what's the best way to know what that feels like?
Actually do
to rent it instead of just writing on paper. So it's like Turo, is that what it's called?
Oh, okay, yeah. Where people just rent their cars.
Yeah, I got it for like 2 days. I don't know how it was, 500 or 600 a day.
Yeah.
But it was a BMW i8. And I don't know, I just want to try it. So I took it up to Sedona. So I did like a photo shoot with it, got into the feeling of it, blasted some music. I think that's
130 on the freeway.
I think it was 140. But
oh, did you? Nice, dude. Hell yeah.
I think it's nice. But my issue was I brought that up to Sedona.
Yeah.
Which was like the dumbest thing I could have done because the roads there are undone and it's really low. So I'm going down a dirt path and it's hitting the ground and everyone's looking at me like, why are you driving a supercar down the dirt road in Sedona? It's based on like, no one cares about the cars there.
Yeah, exactly.
But I was like doing my thing. So I don't do that for others. I do it to see how I feel.
Yeah.
And if I know how it feels to do that, then maybe I would want one in the future.
Sure.
Instead of, so I don't see it as like a negative thing. You have to watch it for the people on social media that would be like, because I think I made a joke on the post.
You're like, I just bought this car. You're like, no, I fucking didn't. A lot of people actually do that, just rent stuff for a day. I see it in Old Town, actually. People will pull up in Ferraris, really nice cars, but there's a fucking like sticker on the side that says like, rent me here. They're just doing it just for the flex.
Yeah.
It's so silly. That's like what a lot of the Old Town scene is in general. It's not my scene at all, but I don't know if you've ever been to the clubs. People spend like $4,000 or $5,000 for a table for a single night. It's like 2 bottles you get with that or something. It's crazy. It's for a show to everyone else that like, I just spent this much money.
The big thing is, with those material things or stuff like that, I operate, there's 2 models of the world. People look at their circumstances, their environment, their bank accounts, any people outside of you, and it creates what they think and how they feel and how they act. I've learned I don't do that. I operate from inside. So with new thoughts, new ideas coming from that goal. So I don't let anything outside of me, the best obviously human, so the best that I can, impact how I feel. So if I look at a supercar, rent it, or a villa, like all that stuff is great. I think everybody should have money and stuff. But I don't tie my identity to that, saying, I'm better to someone because of this car, or I'm renting this to make this person see that I'm better, because that's actually a lack mentality. So a lot of people are doing that, and that leads to unfulfillment. So if you attach your identity around material things, I think that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
There's an issue, because if you lose that, or it's external, it's coming from outside of you. So I've developed kind of my life, especially in Bali too. The whole thing there is like the concept of letting go. I don't know if you've heard about that. And how to operate from the inside out. So it's like, do you let your environment control your thinking, or your thinking control your environment?
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't understand that question.
Yeah.
So I have a mission. I call it a mission statement. It's a vision of my life.
It's like your overarching goal that all your other goals are sort of based off of.
Like a whole vision, and I've been adding to it as I learn more about myself, because that's what we do in life is we learn more of who we are and what we don't like, and or some people don't even start that journey.
Yeah.
And I keep adding details to it, so it has different categories: career, finances, relationships, health, vacations, personal development, faith, and it's all like really scripted out. So I listen to that. Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich.
Yeah.
Auto-suggestion, repetition and emotion.
Yeah.
Suppresses that image onto your subconscious mind, which then controls your body to take actions. So I listen to those things, and I think from like, okay, instead of saying this current experience I'm having, this is how I'm going to create my thoughts. Or this bank account. I mean, I have points when I had negative $254 in my bank account.
Yeah.
Right, and it's tough to be in that situation.
Sure. Yeah.
And
luckily, it's only that people can go much deeper on the other side of that. Yeah. That's like I think you've talked about before, and I've listened to his talks a lot. Jim Roan. Have you heard of him? He's the man. He has a lot of really good stuff. But he has in one of his talks talking about like people used to just hit 0 and then that was it. You had to restart from there. Now people can just zip right on past 0 and get in like, people get in terribly bad debt. Dave Ramsey has him on all the time, which I'm not necessarily a huge fan of that guy, but he'll talk about, or he'll have people on that are like X number of hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt. And I can't imagine being that point.
That's like the blessing of America is you can use debt the right way.
Yeah.
But then also the whatever the reverse of a blessing is.
Yeah, it's the good and evil and everything.
Is that if you could fall into that hole really quick.
Sure.
I met about 3 people over the summer in Massachusetts that are $200K in debt.
Wow.
And they're teachers. And it's
wow.
like with that income.
It's like student loans or something?
Yeah.
Wow.
With that income of making.
They'll never pay it off.
And the interest.
Plus interest? Yeah.
It's tough.
Plus just life. Yeah. Life, especially right now, it's so fucking expensive just to do anything. If you've got a crazy amount of debt and then interest, especially a high interest rate, just adding on to that, it's tough to overcome.
Yeah, I think for me personally, that's why I kind of stepped outside of working for other people, because I can control my income, and it's up to me.
Yeah.
If I don't perform, who's there to look at? I can't yell at the government. I can't yell at you.
Yeah.
Right? It's
only
me.
up to you.
So
for sure.
It's that plain and simple.
All your success is your fault, and all your failures are your fault.
Which is great.
It's great.
Responsibility and discipline is freedom, essentially.
Exactly. There's other people that will tie to a job, and then they can just put their blame all externally. It's like, this is my job or my boss fucking sucks and all this, and it's just an unsatisfactory way to go through life.
Yeah, and then you fall in, like, you lease a car, get a house, and now on top of this, it's
compounding.
But the good part is anyone can get down anything. I truly believe that.
Yeah, I agree too.
A big part of Bali is, and in the USA, it gave me like a culture shock.
The difference?
Yeah. Well, I also backpacked North Africa.
Oh yeah, I think you told me that. That was before you came
Bali.
in.
So the last.
Wait, real quick though, you said you were talking about your mission statement. What is your mission statement?
Like what is it actually?
Yeah.
It's actually 32 minutes long.
Oh, no way, really?
But my mission overall is simple.
Your mission podcast, I thought.
So what I did...
I was thinking it was just like a sentence or something.
No,
it's 32 minutes long, so you recorded it?
This is something I do with my clients, is I help them to... There's different areas. I give them a worksheet. And they start with a couple sentences and add, okay, like relationships. This is the ideal relationships, who I want to attract. Career, how much money I want. Ideally, not from lack. Like without limitations, you want to do it, because that's key.
Sure.
Okay, because you want to be excited about your goal and your vision, and a little bit scared.
For sure.
That's a good spot.
Yeah.
It gets you to move.
Yeah.
So I would different categories, and I would add to it, and then I would record it, and I would listen to it at the gym, and listen to it, and listen to it in the shower, and that's the process. And then I would add as I went and studied more things, it got more clear. So I started.
So is
in
it a bunch of
2017.
notes to yourself that equal 32 minutes, or?
So the last 6 years I have.
But fuck, sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen, we're back. Fuck, I even forget what we were talking about.
The mission statement.
Okay, nice. So I'm glad you remembered.
So I
lost your taste and smell, but the head's still right.
Kind of.
Okay, huh?
Yeah. So the mission statement, different categories, write them down.
Sure.
And you're adding to it the more you discover about yourself. I mean, that's, like I said, that's the process of life, is self-discovery.
Yeah.
And even when you think you know things or more, it's like you go down a rabbit hole of you don't know anything, right? So you keep adding to that with details, and then you voice record it on your phone and you play it back. So mine started out like 3 minutes in 2017, and then it was 8 minutes, and then 12, and then it was 20, and now it's 32 minutes. So it's really a vision for your ideal, like you said, your ideal life, so you know how to act and behave every day versus just floating around. Like imagine going on a ship or going in a car without GPS, and I'm going to drive to Arizona. I just start driving.
Yeah.
Like I know I'm going to get to Arizona. I know what state I'm going to hit. I know how this is going to impact the decisions I make. So on there was so much stuff that actually happened. Like Mexico, the Mayan temples, Africa, going to Africa, going to Bali. That was all on there even years ago.
Oh, wow, nice.
The online business stuff, coaching, business consulting was all on there. I had no idea how it was all going to happen. But the principle is you play that, auto-suggestion, Think and Grow Rich. It emotionalizes that. So if you know a song that you listen to and it brings you back to a certain moment, so the whole point is you play a song in the background of that, and then you play your own words going over of the vision, and it anchors those emotions to that song. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So then we remove that. You can just listen to the song and you can feel the emotions of what it would be like to have accomplished that. So I operate, there's the past, present, and future, right? And we have mental faculties that we can create what we want in our life, like our memory, our imagination, our will, perception, our intuition, and our ability to think, our ability to reason. And most people, when they have a mindset issue or stuff, it's much deeper than a positive or negative mindset. They're looking at the future and they're going, what if this negative thing happens?
Yeah.
Instead of saying, what if this turns out better than it ever did? Or they're looking at the past and saying, I could never speak on camera. I'm not a public speaker. And I used to tell myself that. Yeah. And now I speak on, I'm here. I speak on stages sometimes. I speak all over social media.
Nice. And so we actually met at Toastmasters too.
Right.
And I think one of my very first days was the day that you did your first speech. And by the way, I did that for about a year. You probably have one of the best speeches that I ever heard. And it was just your icebreaker, just very well put together. It's obviously something that you've practiced. And so that's a difficult skill that most people don't ever try to work on at all. And I was very impressed that day that you did your speech.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
For sure.
Because I didn't really put that together at all. I just went up there, and it's like when you share. Yeah. Toastmasters sometimes is so structured. Like if we just talk and have a conversation, a lot of people just get value out of that.
Yeah.
Because it flows instead of like you coming with. I mean, you probably have an idea, but instead of you having like, oh, that has to go this way.
Sure, this rigid structure.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, actually, it's not a good way for me to learn because, honestly, the bell and everything makes me too self-conscious. Part of what I was trying to use it for was just to get more comfortable speaking in front of a group of people. And, like, I'm on one-on-one over the phone, I'm solid with my conversation. I'm really good. But once I get in front of people, this is what I was trying to work on, just, not becoming as nervous. And as soon as they start ringing that fucking bell, I'm just like, that's all I'm thinking about is not saying or and just doing that. It makes me just present in that. And for me to learn well, I need to be free to make mistakes. And I've taken on a lot of different pursuits and started horrible and gotten better at them. I make a lot of mistakes early. And I think that's probably common with most people. But maybe what it's best for, the Toastmasters thing, is to polish you once you're already pretty good. But for me, at least, it wasn't the ideal way for me to learn.
Well, think about this. The bell is a pattern interrupt. So our brain, we run patterns. We think in pictures, right? Yeah. So all of a sudden, you're focused on speaking. Yeah. And you hear a bell. What's it do? It interrupts everything that's going on in your brain. Yeah. And then what do you think about? Oh, I suck, or I'm messing up, or
Don't do
I'm
it
stuttering,
again.
or oh my gosh. And then they do it again, and it's like, so I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Yeah. Also, too, I feel like anytime you're like worried or nervous, it's like from a point of self-consciousness, like you're not focused on the right thing. Anytime I'm focused outwards on the task at hand, I'm doing pretty well. Every time I start getting in my own head of like, how do I look? What do people think? I stutter and keep going over, like almost keep fumbling. Anytime I'm going externally thinking about what needs to happen, that's the right mentality. It's sort of like in jiu-jitsu early on when I started practicing, it's tiring. It's a tiring pursuit. Sometimes I'll think of like how much time is left in this round before I can fucking take a break. I'll go look at the time and I'll think, okay, 3 minutes. And now I'm just thinking, 3 minutes is left. But my mind is in the wrong place. I need to address this person attacking me. And when I'm addressing this person, no matter how tired I am, if I'm thinking about the task at hand, what's going on, it always results in a better outcome than when I'm thinking about this external thing of how much time I need to, survive for or something like that.
It's like the present.
Yeah. Yeah. Staying
being
present.
super present and not letting that happen. I mean, I'm starting up Toastmasters again in improv.
Nice.
Again. So,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. No, don't get me wrong. I think it's a useful tool. I probably would do it again too. I just, it's not the ideal structure for me to learn from.
Yeah.
I'd maybe continue to do it. And it's something that, you know, I feel like if I could do it with more repetitions, I would get a little bit better, like every day or something. And don't get me wrong. If I wanted to fucking commit my life or commit my mindset to getting better at it and doing, you know, a 10-minute speech in front of these people, I would make it happen. But just there's so much stuff in my life, and the weekly thing of it rather than like a daily pursuit makes it more difficult for me to get those repetitions in. And especially if you're not doing a speech every time or something like that, the sort of the meat and potatoes of it is that like questions part, if you don't have a speech plan for the day. And sometimes you may not even be called on. So it could be weeks in between that you get repetitions from the, you know, the whole point of it is to like get reps on public speaking. And the questions part is basically one person is questions master, and they'll have 10 or 15 questions set up, and they'll go around randomly asking people questions, and then they stand up for a minute and have to improvise. But occasionally there's so many people or whatever it is that you don't get picked on. So if you're trying to be there to get better, and you maybe don't get picked on this week, it could be, you know, 2 weeks before you just get a repetition at trying to work on your speech.
I thought that too. I was like, anything that you want to grow fast at, the more consistency you have in that, you'll grow.
Sure.
So it's like if I'm speaking every 2 months, so then it's like the value in that.
Yeah.
I think it is at points, but it's like a thing that I don't think you have to go every week. You know, you can, but it's what serves you in that moment.
Yeah.
Because you could be doing the podcasting, and this is public speaking. Consider that.
Yeah.
And you're learning a lot here, and you have a conversation.
For sure.
It makes you feel better, anyways.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's huge. That's a good point. But anyone starting out, just go check it out. And
Yeah, it is worth it. Yeah, don't let me tell you.
Distracted. What the fuck? Maybe it's...
Hello?
Maybe it's something wrong with that fucking button. That just came out of nowhere. Sometimes
Maybe this place is haunted. Podcast
it's
goes.
always like the deep one too. It's never like there's like a robot one or something that makes your like voice like a chipmunk. It's never the fuck.
always like this.
Yeah, like the death, liquid death. I've been pretending I have sponsors, and every time I have like a liquid death, I'm here like, thank you to our official sponsor, Liquid Death.
sounds perfect.
Yeah.
But yeah, like that mission statement had a lot of me. I couldn't even go on camera. I couldn't do anything speaking. I couldn't do a social media post, right? And then people like message me like, "Oh, you're a natural on social media." I was like, if you only knew, and I'll tell them sometimes. I was like, how many repetitions I put it in 2020 of recording myself, and then I would put the words over it. And I look at my hand movements because I'm Italian, and they go everywhere. I look at that, and then I look at my voice, and then there would be some people that just go, "Hey, you suck on camera." You know, and the haters like that because they never made it in life. And you have to have compassion for them and not care. And
they probably suck as well, and they're just like pissed off that like you're actually trying for stuff.
Yeah, so I think it's a great journey. But what helped me too was like the stand-up comedy, improv.
You did stand-up comedy for a little bit?
Don't ask me to tell you a joke. I don't know any. I'm more about the art of it. Like I'm not trying to be a comic or a professional but it helps you get out of your comfort zone the fastest way possible and puts you in front of people and tells jokes to make them laugh. So it's terrifying.
You're terrifying. And if they don't laugh, you're like, fuck.
Yeah, so in 2021 I did like a 8-week class, and then it ended with like a finale where people invited people, but not only that, I did 2 more like professional. I mean, it was
like
actually
open mic. You just went.
No, it was actually people paid for it.
Oh wow, people paid.
And then I was in the bathroom doing dude. I was terrified.
Wow,
my heart's beating. I'm in the bathroom doing power poses.
No, trying to just get in the right
doing
mindset.
push-ups, doing everything I can.
Yeah.
But the key is you get up there and you just perform. You know, you don't make it about you.
Yeah.
You just. So I used auto suggestion, like the thing with my mission statement. I played my stand-up. What do they call it? The
routine. Your set.
My set.
Yeah.
I played that in the car for weeks.
Wow.
Just on autopilot.
Oh, like your set, like practicing what you were gonna say.
Yeah, just played it and played it and played it, so it got like cemented into my mind.
Nice.
And then I went up there, it was just coming out of my mouth.
Nice.
But then you have to tie in like pausing and looking around the crowd and acting, and I was just I still don't know how I did. Wow. But all I know is I went up there and I came off, and they had no idea if I did 200 shows or one. Yeah. I was probably horrible.
Yeah. Did you get some laughs?
I don't know, dude. It was like there was two of me.
Oh wow.
Like I was just making sure I knew things, but then like it was like I had another awareness that was like another
almost
perspective.
watching yourself.
Yeah, like that. So I don't really know. And then I have the recording. I've watched it once, but I'm like scared to go back. But
The recording of you actually on stage?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, wow, huh. Wow, that's like in...
You
like,
suck!
You've just blocked it out of your mind.
Yeah.
It was just you being booed for 10 minutes straight.
For me,
I'm not sure how it went.
For me, it was just like the act that I got up there, man.
Yeah.
Led to more confidence.
For sure.
In other areas. And then I think I'm more of an improv. The improv stuff is amazing because it's like, this is improv. It's like in conversations and stuff. Just
on the spot.
Expression. Like so many people are so worried about being judged by stuff. Like if you just be authentic and express yourself, like you'll obviously gonna have some people that don't like you, but who cares? Because they're obviously not your friends and stuff anyways. Yeah. But then the people that respect you are around you.
Sure.
So that's the big thing that goes back to like friends and relationships.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes we're friends for a lifetime. Sometimes we grow apart.
Yeah.
And to know that because our time is so valuable.
Yeah.
I meet people all over the world, and it's like guys and women meet up with them once or twice, and it's like your best friends. And then I have some people I've known for 10 years, and it's like we have nothing in common anymore.
Yeah.
And we still talk, but you know, at what point do you be like, hey, like, yeah, we're not really friends anymore.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how else to say that.
Yeah. Authenticity is so important. Yeah, I think it's like so. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like people have like a sense for it as well. It's so easy to identify when people are just spewing bullshit. That's one thing that from making social media posts myself that I try to do. I try to do first take, however it goes. That's it. Most of the time, occasionally I'll try to like, oh, add this or do this or I missed this part and I'll redo it. But in general, my first take is always the best. Every time I'm like, you know, that was okay, but I could do a little bit better. I take it again, and then it's progressively worse every time because now I'm trying to force it. And I said this good thing, you know, 20 seconds in, and I want to re-say that, but now it's not just coming off the top of my head. I'm just forcing it, and it never looks as good as just that very first time. So sometimes I'll say or fuck or you know whatever, and I'll just first take. 95% of the time, I try to just do that, just first take, and I send it.
Yeah, that's the way to do it, I think. Definitely. Just let it flow.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it comes off more authentic, and then it's just easier for, I don't know. Also, too, you spend less time doing it. When you try to perfect to do a perfect thing, you spend an hour and a half doing it, and it doesn't come out perfect. So,
and that's what, like you said, people pick up on being authentic.
Yeah.
Especially. 'Cause
yeah.
people online, even like, I do my best to make my social media just who I am. Because I have nothing to hide.
Sure.
So and I don't care anymore. I mean, obviously you go through a point like fear of judgment or fear of all these fears come up.
It's a common thing, you know. That's one thing that's so interesting. I feel like people think that like they're the only ones that are going to be scared of what other people think, and yeah, that guy can do it, but that's because he's that guy. Every single person has this fear of being judged harshly, and you just have to overcome that and really just not give a fuck what people say. And social media is funny because you could post something and then people could talk shit, and you're like, how could this fucking asshole say this? But part of it's because of the disconnect from being in person. And if someone was, you know, if you said something that I really didn't like, I would say, you know, why do you think that? Or I wouldn't say, you fucking dumb piece of shit. How could you fucking think that? But for some reason, because of that disconnect, people will be in the comments saying wild shit. And then you read that and take it personally. And it's just, you have to completely not pay attention to any of that.
There's a difference. It's like I don't follow politics, but Democrats or Republicans, we could have completely opposite views and have a conversation.
Yeah.
Like normal people.
Yeah.
But the issue is people can't do that or anything in life, anything contrasting. We can disagree, but still have a great conversation about the disagreements.
For sure.
And then maybe maybe I switch up or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, most people are in kind of defense mode.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you're attacking me. Because not only that, when you say certain things, you attack their model of the world, their identity.
Yeah, exactly.
So if I say, I don't know, I don't like vaccines or something.
Yeah.
And then someone works in a hospital and they see all the people that die of that, then I'm attacking their career path. And
you're attacking them personally.
And they don't have the awareness to be like, oh, he didn't mean it that way. So you can be very particular how you say it, or you just have two people that are on that level of awareness.
Exactly. It's just a difference in idea. One time I just I went to a bar randomly. It was actually like I think it was the night I did this jiu-jitsu event about a couple months ago, and it was this big thing, and I'm just here locally. I wasn't really hanging out with someone or any people at the time. I was just by myself, and so I went to dinner by myself, and I went to a bar. I met up with 2 random people, actually. One guy that is a good friend of mine now. Like, we just met up randomly, and then a third person came randomly, and we ended up like smoking weed in the parking lot. We go out there and like we're all smoking weed, and it's hilarious that we just met each other like 10 minutes ago. And the girl was like, "Oh wait, you guys don't know each other either?" And she's like, "No, we just met too." And we go back inside, and she talks about how her boyfriend was somewhere. Oh, he was like in Ibiza or something. And she said something to the effect of like, "I hope he's having fun over there." In a weird way. And I was like, "What do you mean? Like maybe banging other girls?" And she's like, "It doesn't mean he doesn't love me." I'm like, "Well, that's interesting. Like, what? So do you guys have an open relationship?" And she's like, "Well, no, but I've done certain things, and it doesn't mean I don't love him as much." I'm like, "Well, that's really interesting." And so I tried to like ask her about this, but she got pissed. She got to the point where she wanted to fucking leave, because I was like, if you're okay with having sex with other people, and like everyone has different ways that they operate in life. Like there's people that I'm friends with that have open relationships. They're, together, maybe even married, but they have sex with other people. I think that's just interesting. If that's the way you operate your life, I'm totally okay with it. I'm not going to judge you, but you should be able to defend it intelligently, or at least thought about it. So I was like, "Oh, that's so interesting. Like, why do you think that?" And she just got really heated about it. And it's sort of that thing that like just this idea was tied to her, I guess, her identity. And because I had maybe disagreed or thought that I honestly, all I thought it was interesting. But
Right,
she got
you just
so
wanted to know
fucking,
more information.
Yeah, all I wanted
of-
to just
yeah.
like, that's interesting. You live your life like that. I wanted to talk to her about it, but she got
Like,
so.
I wanted to do it too.
How did he convince you? No, no. I think it's I mean, I wouldn't live my life that way, but I thought it was super interesting, and so I wanted to talk to her about it. But she got so angry that we couldn't have a conversation about it. So
I think that's common out in Arizona, I think, too.
Yeah. I think just in
I have a
people in
friend-
general.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I have a friend that has an open relationship, married, all that stuff.
Yeah.
And I asked, she didn't get upset, but I think it's hard for them they don't really know, I think. Like, it's like she couldn't even put into words. She's like, "Oh, it's just complicated," like, in the sense of, like, it's hard to explain.
Yeah.
So I don't know what that means, but it's kind of, both of us come from a place of curiosity with anything.
Yeah.
Because why, even if they say that, why judge, most people would judge her.
Yeah.
Or
I could give a fuck. I just met her.
Yeah, any belief people are like,
Yeah.
"Oh, he's an asshole because of this," or "She's
Yeah.
an asshole because of that."
Yeah.
But if you just ask questions, maybe not. Maybe there's a reason for that, and maybe
Yeah.
you can get some insights and wisdom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or maybe they're not totally okay with it in their own head, and they haven't completely intellectualized it, but this is the way that they're living life. And so because they identified that there's something maybe even in their own behavior that they don't agree with, but they haven't had the conversation in their own head or with someone to work out the kinks and see what exactly is my intention with this, or what do I believe, what is the correct thing morally, or however you want to put it. Because they haven't intellectualized that, they identify that there is maybe something that in your disagreement, or even in your curiosity, that they like in your disagreement that they also disagree with, but just can't verbalize it, so they just get angry.
Yeah. They probably haven't thought that way.
Yeah.
You think about that? Because most people are thinking, 60 to 80,000 thoughts a day, and most of them are the same.
Yeah.
So when you think of, someone comes around and asks a question, it's like it scrambles your brain sometimes. And that's the issue when you say, "I don't know about anything." I catch myself, like, if you ask me a question and I say, "I don't know," it's because I have like a fear behind the question, or I haven't used that pattern of thought before. So it's a chance for growth, or it's a chance to go back to not, you have a chance to jump into that, be like, have some courage, or you go back and kind of avoid it. But the I don't know anything, if I say that, that's the worst thing you can say, because obviously if you just ask yourself, what's the reason for something, you have an idea of why you do stuff, I would hope. Or you're just being ignorant of your thoughts. So
Yeah.
So
What if it's something that you really don't know?
like what?
Like, what's the capital of fucking, I don't know.
You better pick the right state.
Yeah. Are you pretty good with capitals? What's the
No.
capital of North Dakota?
I don't know, man.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, you can't say that.
For stuff about yourself.
Yeah, okay. Oh, someone
Well,
says like something
general
about your own-
information, I do know, because I got Google.
super genius in your
Super
pocket.
genius, more powerful than the first computer that
Yeah.
Brought people to the moon.
Yeah.
Debatably.
Yeah.
The capital of, let's just get it for the people. Capital of what? South Dakota?
North Dakota or South?
Do you know it?
I don't know any capital.
Bismarck. North Dakota.
Oh, I've heard of that place.
Yeah, you don't want to go there.
Have you seen that one video where she's like, I'll fucking tell Carl Bismarck. She's like, I don't even know who Carl is. He's dead.
No, what is that?
It's just this crackhead that was yelling at this guy and he videotaped it. But so, you mentioned a couple times like your online coaching business. Like, what would you say your job title is? Is that like you're an online coach yourself and you teach people how to, or what would you say your job title is?
So, in 2020, I began as like helping people with mindset, which is typically their goals, habits, productivity, health. I guess would fall into that obviously. Their vision, like we talked about. How to use the relation between a conscious mind, the subconscious mind, the body. So how you think, how you feel, and how you act leads to your results. And that's the whole diagram that I go into. Self-image, how you view yourself, how to create a self-image. Like we all kind of alluded to this. Fear, when you do all that stuff and you go create a goal and stuff, what happens? You get scared.
Yeah.
So how do you break through fear? There's a process for it. Attitude, leadership, leaving people better off. It's foundational. So I teach people that stuff. That's how I live my life, right?
Almost like a life coach, basically.
I hate that word.
Yeah.
Don't call me that. So I called it Mindset Coach, and this is in 2020. And I grew that business to like multi-six figures, helping people with their goals. And I think I know a lot about life, but I don't know anything.
Sure.
Right. So that's the big thing. Like no one really knows.
You don't have it perfectly figured out.
No. But I think we can fit like in my 29 years, like me going to Bali and this, you can scrunch in like I talked about this online, like multiple lifetimes in one. Like if someone does the same thing every day for 29 years, versus someone does all these different things and comes back, that person it's like they lived more lifetimes almost. That's like the analogy.
Interesting. Yeah.
We'll talk about that. But so I did that, grew that to a certain point, and then out of that, to get clients and learn sales skill sets, social media. I learned all those things, which are like business skill sets. And then I became more of combining the mindset and the coaching with business consultant. So now I help people take the knowledge that they have. So it could be you about jiu-jitsu. How do you create a course? How do you market that course? How do you sell it? How do you help people? And then how do you make money? So I bring them from the A to Z that I did with those two businesses. So now I call myself like a business consultant, but I help with mindset stuff. So it's business oriented. I'm a very spiritual person in that sense, so I tie in concepts of like faith and stuff like that, because it is 90% mindset. Everything is. The strategy
business, all of it. Life is so much about
you
your
do
mindset.
it with consistency, and you show up, and you do discipline, and you overcome the fear. Like if you just do that and you know where you're going, you're gonna have success.
Yeah.
But most people give up. So now I help people share their knowledge online and earn money doing it.
Okay,
which is
interesting.
Cool, yeah.
So whatever they're good at, they create an online course that they're able to sell and make a business that way.
Yeah, through social media online. But also we have like...
What if they don't know shit?
I teach it all to them.
Oh, well, no, but I mean as far as like anything these are all, I guess, people that have something to teach.
They don't know anything?
Yeah.
I teach them how to go read a book.
Yeah.
No, so I didn't know any. I mean, I went to college, got my bachelor's in business, but they didn't teach me anything about it. I don't use any of it.
Yeah, your
I just got some
bachelor's in
student
business.
loans and left.
Yeah.
I had a nice party life.
Exactly.
And a nice social life.
That's what it is.
I don't regret that, but I didn't learn.
A business degree is so interesting. You pay $100,000 to learn about business from some guy who's never owned a fucking business.
Exactly.
That's crazy.
So then after that, I invested a lot of money in myself the last 2 years into people that actually had businesses. And said, hey, you just teach me what you did.
And comparatively, probably way cheaper.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
I mean, people think it's a lot, but but compared to tuition, it's smart.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Even if you're spending $1,000 or something for this weekend or whatever, it's what do you spend $20,000 a year in college or sometimes
that's like a
much
state
more?
school.
Yeah, if you're going out of state,
40 to 60,000
per year. Yeah, so you could be easily $240 in debt by the end of a 4-year degree.
And then you're not guaranteed to like 60 or 70% of people don't even get a job in their area unless you're like an engineer or a lawyer.
Yeah.
Then it will pay off.
Yeah.
So it's just a sticky
and,
slope.
Yeah, and a lot of places they just want like a bachelor's degree because it means you've been through a 4-year school. And so also people there's just so many people with bachelor's degree that the value of a bachelor's is a lot less. The cost has gone up. It's like double inflation. The cost has gone up and up and up, and there's more and more people that have it. So it's diluting the value of it.
Exactly. So the people I work with, they don't have knowledge. Everyone has something.
Yeah.
Like it could be, I started with like talking about habits because I was very mentally strong and disciplined.
Yeah.
And I could help people with accountability. Like I could help someone with that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. It's like, do you do your fucking push-ups today?
But then I went through a
Who's going to carry the post?
Jocko.
Yeah.
I mean, Goggins.
Yeah, Goggins.
But the thing is, like, I went through that stage. Like I became obsessed with learning. I still am, which is great. I didn't read books before I was 23.
Learning, you said.
Learning.
Yeah.
So I learned about marketing. I learned about sales. And I learned if I just go and put in the work to learn these concepts and apply it, then I can teach other people it. So the more that I learn, the best investments in yourself, right? Attend seminars, learn, invest into coaching, find mentors.
Yeah. Go to Jordan Peterson with your boy Joey.
Exactly. The more that I do these things, and implement is the key, because knowledge without implementation is just knowledge, right?
Exactly.
It's not power at all. It actually causes frustration and confusion imagine being so smart and your life doesn't change.
Yeah.
That's a lot of people.
That's
I have
crazy.
my degree,
Yeah.
but my income is low, or I have my degree, I can't get a job.
Yeah.
So
action has to be coupled with all of it completely, because people can get to, and I'll do it too, into this almost goal setting it's extremely important. But once you've done it a number of times, once you are clear on your goals, for me personally, it can become almost like a mental masturbation where it's like, oh, I'm doing this, and if I could do this, and if I could have this place, and I just get locked up in all of that. And then if you don't go do anything past it, it doesn't do anything. It's got to be coupled with extreme action.
So that's the case. So anyone can go learn these things and buy books. You know, people do that. They live a whole life and they put how they did it into books.
Yeah.
Jim Roan alludes to that. That's
Yeah.
why he's hilarious, because he just says it's so simple.
Yeah.
If you want to learn about happiness, go study happiness. If you want to learn how to make money online, go study online. If you want to go learn about jiu-jitsu, go find someone to teach you about that.
Yeah.
And pay him some money or something. Or maybe, I don't know, exchange something.
Yeah.
So I didn't know anything. So I learned it all.
Exchange sexual favors.
I don't judge.
Yeah.
People do what you got to do to get to your dreams overall. But yeah, typically the people I work with, they have something they want to share. Or they have, like my thing is I just like to inspire people and my path, because I don't like life coach terms. Like I'm not like a goody two shoes. Like I've been arrested 5 times in my life.
Wow, have
I
you?
drank a lot. I partied.
Nice.
I did stupid stuff.
Yeah.
I think that's good. But
Yeah.
in the moment, it sucked. I
Yeah.
had losses in my life of people that I lost, you know, from cancer, car crashes, all that stuff. And all that led to like the perception of okay, life, people say life is short, right? But in the moment, it feels pretty damn long.
Yeah.
But it is. Like, I don't say this in a negative way, but I could die tomorrow. I don't know. I don't think I'm going to.
Yeah.
But I make sure I have perspective on that. I plan for the long term, but I also be like, all right, live my life now. Like, that's my message for people is freedom wise. Like follow your heart in that sense. Know what you want first off, and then go after that. That's what I help people do. So they live kind of to see what I'm doing, and I do it with authentic. I'm authentic with it.
Yeah.
And they've seen me do it from zero, no money, knowledge, no experience.
Yeah.
So that's a big part. It's not like I just showed up and
For sure.
So they want to work with me for that reason.
Yeah,
and
that authenticity is so important. That's one thing that fucking what's his name, Gary Vaynerchuk, Gary Vee talks about. Oh no way, you met him? Wow, that's so cool. Yeah, because he talks like people often have that misperception that they need to be at this certain point before they can start making posts, or it's got to be this perfect. He's like, don't try to create content, just document. Document your process. And so everything that's going on, just document. And that becomes the content. And because it's so authentic, that's what people resonate with.
Right. I call it something similar to that. I call it hyper attraction marketing. And all you're doing is you're just sharing your life. And that's how you attract your tribe.
Yeah.
You got to, in business, you have to have your niche audience and your products. We play that in. But if I go for a walk down the street in Arizona, and it's free, right?
Yeah.
So you don't have to have millions of dollars to do this. You don't have to flaunt a supercar or flaunt a supercar. You can go for a walk and you can have a realization on your walk and post about it.
Yeah.
And then people will go, oh, well, I relate to that.
Yeah.
Or like for me, like I did that from 2020. I wasn't traveling the world. I was like broke.
Yeah.
And I was posting all my what I was going through, and I was posting I had negative 254 in my account.
Yeah.
And I think I have a video somewhere of that moment.
Yeah.
It's like really powerful. You got to find it.
Nice.
But my whole thing is like, you don't have to be in Bali to post that. But now I'm at the
Yeah.
point that I do post cool stuff because my life is, I like my life.
Yeah.
So, but you don't have to.
And
you can do I can take a selfie. You can start a podcast, take
Yeah.
a selfie here, and post it online.
Yeah.
It's like that
Exactly.
easy.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah. And in that moment that you were at this low point, that how cool that you did document this, that now you can have this excellent point of contrast for the rest of your whole life. Now you've got a great time. I remember like early in my career, there was multiple times that like I went negative in my bank account and they fucking charge you like $100. You go negative $3 and they'll give you an overdraft fee of an additional $100. And then because of that, like I remember because of an overdraft fee, it caused another overdraft fee. I'm like, if you would have just fucking let the money like hit there, you wouldn't have charged me all this money. And like I went in and like had this like discussion with one of the bankers of like, please reverse it. And it was like the third time in a row that I had come here and like I asked to speak to the manager and all of this, and they just wouldn't do it. They're like, it was a hard line in the sand. And I'm like, I'm just some fucking broke person.
They didn't reverse it for you?
Yeah, no, well they did I think the first 2 times actually.
Yeah.
But like after the third time coming in there and try to complain, they're just like, sorry, bud, you fucking keep doing this. And so I wish I maybe would have like documented that, but I do remember that part in my life. Now I'll go and like, I've had a pretty good past couple of years. The people at the bank know me. I went in and like I set up a bank account with my parents to like buy this property together. And they're like, I walk in, they're like, Joey. And like one of them was like, it's a great thing when everyone at a bank knows who you are. So
It's amazing, dude.
Yeah.
I relate with that because I was sitting and then I was in, I forget where I was, Worcester, Massachusetts.
Mm-hmm.
I was sitting there and I looked at my account, and not only that, the reoccurring monthly payments were hitting that negative amount, like you said. So
Yeah.
it's saying negative 50, and I had about 450s.
Oh no.
So on top of that, I just sat there, and in that moment, I go, and the whole, again, what I said earlier in this chat is I was still just getting into living from the inside out.
Yeah.
So I was like, am I gonna let this negative, like, I'm a good guy,
Mm-hmm.
like I'm smart. You know what I mean? Am I going to let this negative thing be like, you're a piece of shit?
Yeah, I'm gonna go to dinner and spend more money. No. Put it on a credit card.
I'm going to double that down to, I want to get to a negative 1,000. That's my goal.
Exactly. Those goals are easier to hit in that direction. You just keep racking it up.
But I sat there and I go, that doesn't make me a shitty person. So I said, what would I do? Like, I'm going to be successful in the future. I know it. Like, I know in my heart. So I
Yeah.
took my phone and I took a video. Or it was the webcam. I think it was the webcam, actually.
Wow.
Recorded that. And I just spoke about, hey, my account's this right now. Here's the date. I'm going to post this sometime later. I want to show you guys that the reflection of your bank account right now is not a reflection of who you are. If you're working on yourself, you can change that. And
Yeah.
one day this is going to change for me. I'm going to be able to post this online. And then I had a moment in that I could move back with my parents after that, right?
Yeah.
I had no money. I could
Yeah.
move back in with my parents. I could be the victim with that, which and every right, yeah, that sucks, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's not a good situation. Or I could be like, okay, I'm going to figure this out. I have 5 weeks, 6 weeks, whatever. I can figure this out. And I had a model in my business. I just need a couple clients to hit big numbers.
Yeah.
And then I went all in. I went on networking online. This is during COVID. I went online networking. I did 6 to 8 a week. So, just went all in 'cause I didn't know how to get clients. And then I
Yeah.
held a 5 days to overcome fear or something event online.
You held it?
Yeah.
Oh, wow,
I had no
nice.
idea what I was doing, but I told them all to come.
Yeah.
At this point, you just kind of like, I didn't have a business mentor. And
Yeah.
I just was like figuring it out, winging
Yeah.
it. And you just like,
Yeah. There's like a quote.
you go to the next step and just figure it out.
Yeah, exactly. There's like a quote like you can't steer a parked car. Sometimes you just got to get in and go, and you'll figure out the directions that you need to turn in as you go.
Yeah, and in that moment, I said I can go into fear and take action out of that, or I can go into faith and that. And I was teaching people to go into faith. So who am I I'm gonna go moving back with my parents because
Yeah.
I have negative money. And some people will say, Dana, you're crazy. I would do that.
Yeah.
Well, it worked
Yeah.
because I ended up making like $35,000 in the next 6 weeks.
Wow.
In my business.
Nice. After you were negative a couple
My
$100.
bank account was negative 254, and then I had over 30 grand in it
Wow. In just a few weeks or 6 weeks.
in 5.5 weeks or 6
Wow.
weeks
Dude, that's sick.
because of that one decision.
Yeah, good for you.
And then I go, wow. And I was just like, I didn't know what happened. So just like
Yeah.
in those moments, I feel like that in those moments shows our belief truly, or our
Yeah.
paradigms. And I feel like we get challenged by, like I say, the universe or God, we get challenged. And what decision you make in those moments actually determines the outcome you get. I swear to God, because I've I've had many moments in the last 3 years of moments like that. You can go into, it's scary. You can go this way into faith, or you can go back into your old way of being, and you can be comfortable over there and miserable.
Absolutely. I agree 100%. I was actually just talking to someone about this the other day, that the universe often gives me stressful events in my life and sees how I react to it. And based on my reaction, it either rewards me or punishes me.
Yes.
And I've always said, like, a, whatever you want to call it, a high value male or a high value person is extremely good at handling stressful events elegantly. And you got to be just well versed in, this is what's going on. I control what I can control and get through it with elegance, and hopefully on the other side in a positive, result. But that's been something in my life over and over and over. The universe tries a stressful event on me. It sees how I react, and based on that, I either go up or down. And it's been plenty of times that, like, I felt like it gave me, because I've been in commercial real estate now for the past 8 years. Like, how real estate works, especially if you're selling land, sometimes you'll open escrow today and they don't close for a year from now. Or the longest escrows I've had are like 3 years. Mm-hmm. So that means I open escrow today. Everyone's completely in agreement. The 90% of the work that you're being paid for is done today, and in 1 year you get paid. So, and like, once you're agreed, the exact amount you'll get paid and all of this. And so I'll have on my deal sheet, I'm gonna make, $10,000 at this date. And as time goes on, maybe in my life, I'm just half in, half out. I'm not committed in this way. The universe pulls back. That deal drops escrow. I don't get paid at all. That's over and over in my life. I've felt anytime something like that has happened, and sometimes it's been much bigger numbers than that. I've always put it as my own personal blame, because I think that I just know in my life I'm not trying hard, and the universe has reacted accordingly. Whenever I am trying hard, the universe acts accordingly and gives me everything that I want. And it's not, apparent. It's not right away. And sometimes I'm trying my fucking hardest on certain things and it's still not happening. But that's also just part of the process. Anytime at least I'm trying my hardest, I know I'm trying my hardest. When I know I've left something on the table, that's much worse for me than if there's a negative result and I didn't try my hardest. If there's a negative result and I tried my fucking best, like, it's much less stressful for me. And it makes me, more able to continue to try it, or can try something else that will work.
That's huge. The universe loves persistence.
It does.
Because think about this: if someone sat down, watched this, and set a big goal, things are going to happen to challenge you. It has to.
Has to.
Because your life needs to get interrupted to get you there.
Yeah.
But most people, the interruptions happen. They go, "Oh my life's falling apart." I'm like, "No, it's falling together."
Yeah.
But the thing is, they don't. In those moments, like you said, if they're not composed and they don't make the decisions in that moment and lead from their heart in that moment, or their gut, whatever you want to call it, then the universe pulls back and says that person's not ready for that. And it's terrifying.
Yeah.
I get it. But then you do it enough times, you're like, there's a pattern here.
Yeah.
There's something going on here.
Yeah.
Like, I have so many stories of these weird things happening and my life's falling apart, but it's not.
Yeah.
It's like you asked for something. In 2021, when I came to Arizona, I wrote down, like, I have a gold card here.
Yeah.
On the back, I'm so happy and grateful. And then you write your goal. You write a deadline.
Wow.
You read it every day. Right.
Nice.
So I wrote in 2021. I'm so happy and grateful that I live in an apartment in Scottsdale, Arizona by October 15th, 2021.
Oh, nice.
2 weeks later, all this stuff started to happen. Like, the apartment place I lived at.
You mean like COVID started to happen?
That was already going on.
Oh, okay. What was the date that you wrote the goal?
2021.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
2020 was COVID.
And what was the date that you were going to move into the apartment?
October 15th, 21.
Oh, okay.
And I got here August 21. But what happened is, just quickly here, is apartment, and I usually park on, where was it? The sidewalk. Mm-hmm. And some reason I was just like, I'm going to park in the driveway. Mm-hmm. And I don't know why. Mm-hmm. I just didn't park on the sidewalk. And then all of a sudden I went inside. 5 minutes later, a huge noise. And this car, someone didn't put it in, they put it in neutral or something. And this truck, and it slammed into the rock right in front of my apartment where my car would have been. Like,
no way.
It would have demolished my car.
Wow.
Or if I was in it, I don't know. It was a massive truck. It was like
wow.
one of those huge ones.
Yeah.
And then, like, that happened. And then I was like, oh, whatever. And then I ended up driving on that weekend. I went to go visit my friend for a birthday party or something. And I ran over a possum on the highway. Like, I was onboarding on a highway and a possum ran over.
Oh, damn.
And it hit my radiator. I didn't think of anything of it. I just kept driving, and then my light went on. And it turns out it burnt out like my whole radiator, and this and this caused $6,000 of damage from a possum.
That fucking sucks.
Like a little possum. I just remember its face came. I demolished the thing. Towed the car, all this. So then insurance, I talked to them, and then my insurance, it said for some reason my parents' house was listed and not that one, and they deny my claim.
Oh, fuck.
So I paid out of pocket five or $6,000 out of pocket, and this is when I was still like, I didn't have much money.
Yeah.
And that was like all my money.
Fuck,
so that happened.
sucks.
And then not only that, then underneath us, there was a 3-bedroom family place, right? Apartment. Underneath us, no one was in there. Some guy moved in like that same week.
Yeah.
You know, just like a single guy, very strange guy. And then he was just him, but he would always have this girl over with pink hair. You got to watch out for the ones with pink hair. No, but seriously, I think it was him. I think there was assault and battery. I don't know who did it, but the cops broke in their door. Like literally, I came home and the door was broken down.
Yeah.
And then he was like, "Oh yeah, no, I was carrying in a table." He told the landlord. I saw all the cruisers there. Like,
Yeah.
So all these things happened. And I was not on good terms with my relationship. Our relationship was done. We were just roommates. We were just living together, kind of. So we ended up like we had to move out because it wasn't safe. The landlord wouldn't kick the guy out after that. She was there. She had to go. So it's like we had to make a decision. We're gonna move to Massachusetts. Are we gonna go different ways? And we ended up going different ways completely.
Yeah.
Because she didn't want to come to Arizona, and I want to go to Arizona.
Yeah.
So I ended up, all that happened, packed up my car. This is all within 2 weeks, by the way. And then my family was in Maine at Old Orchard Beach doing like a family vacation. I showed up with the full car. I'm like, hey, I'm driving to Arizona in 2 days.
Wow.
Drove across the country to Arizona.
Yeah.
This whole thing, we talked about 50 hours. I didn't know where I was staying. I went on
Drove to
Facebook,
Arizona.
Facebook Marketplace, and found some guy, and he's like, I'm going to Hawaii. I need someone to sublet my place for 3 weeks. So I had that, and then I had an Airbnb for the next month for a month in Gilbert, like a room out of like a mansion. I just picked it.
Wow.
And I show up at like the whole story, right? I show up at 2 a.m., meet the guy in my car. He thinks I'm crazy. I'm like showing up. I'm not even like, my brain's not even working. I just drove like 20 hours straight, my rodeo there. And then it turns out that his roommate ended up moving out randomly, and he needed a roommate. And then I liked it. So I canceled the Airbnb, ended up staying there for 11 months.
Wow.
So like things just kind of worked together. But when I wrote that goal, all that crazy stuff happened.
Yeah.
And
all these negative events.
It got negative events. It led me to Arizona quickly than I thought.
Yeah.
Which led to my last 2 years or 3 years since then have been the best years of my life.
Wow. That's awesome.
So like we said, when you ask for something in the universe,
yeah.
things happen, but then awareness to know like this is happening to get me here, and just trust that process. And that's what Bali was about too, is letting go.
Yeah, nice.
Like there's a book, Letting Go, I read in Bali.
Nice. But that's totally it. It tests you and sees how you respond. That's fucking sick.
Yeah.
Nice.
Another thing about Bali, hard work and all that stuff. So like you said, I'm working hard towards that. So there's all this, like, and people always say, like, oh, you've heard of, like, obviously the law of attraction stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. But there's an issue with it is, like, they think they can just imagine things and will come, right?
Yeah,
But then
exactly.
there's that fact you got to put in some
action.
actions. But then there's the other part of that. If you put it in too many actions, it's like you don't believe you're going to get it. So
Interesting.
have you heard of that?
No, I haven't.
So in Bali, you go there, and the 14-hour time difference for my business. I'm working out there, right? And to go get food I can't taste, but to go get food, you hop on like a scooter Uber.
Yeah.
It's nuts.
Oh, really? Like a Vespa type scooter?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hop on that.
On the back of someone's?
Yeah.
Oh.
It's like an Uber that picks you up on that, or you drive your own.
Nice.
There's scooters everywhere, and everything's like a process. So like it was so hard for me to run my business out there. 14-hour time difference. I'm doing calls at 5:30 in the morning that I need to really show up.
Gosh.
Exhausted.
Yeah.
Tough time. My business made more money in Bali from not caring about, like I was still doing things, but I was like, all right, I'm gonna surrender and let go to like just live the Bali way.
Yeah.
And I made more money that way.
Wow.
So sometimes it's like when you're forcing things, you're actually pushing it away.
Oh, interesting.
And so when you do enough action, but you're like, oh, I'm good, like I'm confident, I feel good, and then you just ease back, sometimes the universe will give you it quicker.
Wow. It's like
And that's a concept I didn't know about.
Wow. It's like an action like coupled with trust that it actually is going to happen.
Yeah, because if you actually believed all of it, you wouldn't. It's how you take an action. Like if I'm going and I'm trying to get clients, and I do my day's work, and I put in a little. I like to work, I love what I do, but sometimes I'm like forcing things, like what's if I don't get a client in this month, it's this.
Yeah.
Or like you said, you have to wait for that deal to go through. So you do more.
Yeah.
But sometimes that's pushing it away.
Yeah.
I learned that. And that's like a different level of awareness.
Oh, for sure. Also, too, in sales in general, anytime like it's never sales has like a big misconception that it's like convincing people to do something that they don't want to do. It's all about finding what they need and helping them get that. And so often there's a point when like the agreement is made in the conversation, whether you're trying to negotiate some certain point or there's a back and forth, and there's a point where the decision is yes, I will move forward. After that decision, you just shut the fuck up. That's what finishes the sale. Anytime like they say yes, and it's like yeah, and also this point and this point and this point is a good reason that you're saying yes. You're just muddling it. It fucks it up because it's like they say like you've already struck gold. Stop digging. Like you're digging past the gold, and that's totally it. Yeah.
Yeah, and a lot of times it's like pressure sales, right? Well, to get someone to, like you said, to get someone to do something that they don't want to do is manipulation. But to influence is if you want to join my program and you want to build a business, I influence you by asking the right questions to help you come to that conclusion that you want to do it because you do want to do it.
Yeah,
so that's helping someone versus, I'm making you feel like crap or I'm like trying to do it for me.
For sure. Well, that's a big part of it too. If you're my buddy who's in real estate as well, he actually just said something. You can tell when people have commission breath. When they just you can smell it on their breath that's what they're caring about. When you're only focused on like the money that I'm making, it's a completely wrong focus. I gotta focus on like how can I help you, and if I can't help you, I need to move on to someone else because it's like that old cliche of like sell me this pen, and people will often like if you just do that to someone, they'll be like, oh, well, this pen has this super features and all this, and it's the wrong way to go about it. If you said sell me this pen, I would first say, well, how long have you been in the market for a pen? I'd start to ask questions. And if you say, I'm not in the market for a pen, okay, nice to meet you. Have a good day. I'm on to the next person because there's someone out there who is interested in buying a pen, and I'll sell to them. Because that's like what a common novice mistake too is not identifying the person's needs and trying to sell to someone that doesn't need your service. And it's a waste of both people's time. So you're trying to force someone to do something that they shouldn't do, and you have something that other people want. Go to give it to the people who want it.
Right.
Yeah.
Like how I buy stuff is like if you have something I want, it's very easy to sell me on it.
Yeah.
You just ask where you at, the goals.
Yeah.
It's easy.
Yeah,
but if
you want it.
But if I don't want it, I'm gonna be like, dude, get the hell away from me. Like,
exactly.
And then a lot of people like on social media too, people get approached that way and they're trying to get sold stuff, so they assume like everyone's salesy or that's a negative or they have an experience.
Yeah.
I didn't know anything about sales, and it's literally just having a conversation.
It is
finding out, listening to what they're saying, asking the right questions.
Yeah.
And like you said, especially in my businesses, I market, make the sale, and then you start working with them for 3 months, 6 months, right? So if I sell someone something they don't want, which I probably could do, but I don't do that.
Yeah.
Right. But if I did do that, let's just say that they join my program, they're not going to do anything.
Yeah.
Right.
Because they don't want to.
They have no desire to anyways. So it's actually hurting.
Yeah.
So if they sell the pen to someone that doesn't want it, they're going to go back and try to return it. They're going to complain about it. They're going to say, Joe's. But if you sell it to the person who loves the pen, and they're in the market for a damn pen, then they're going to be like, wow, Joe's the man.
Yeah.
I got this pen. Hey, Dana, you know that guy Joe?
Yeah.
He has amazing pens. You bought him for like $2.
Exactly. That's it. It's because like sales is not like, it's not a intuitive thing, I guess, or maybe people don't study it, or it seems that because there's infinite earning potential, so many people get into it. Whatever the reason is, 90 to 95% of the people who are in it absolutely suck. So they're just shitty people, or not even they're shitty people, but maybe they suck, and it takes time to become good at anything. And so most of your interactions with any sort of salesman is going to be statistically likely with a shitty salesman. So that's why, in my opinion, I think a lot of sales just get a bad rep, because most of the people that you're going to deal with are just shitty people. When you work with a high-level salesman who's only trying to help you, it's a pleasure to work with them. Yeah, I'm giving you something that you want. I can tell you that you need what I have. I'm working hard to do it. You're really happy that like I can help you, and I have this desire to do it in a positive way. It's an elegant experience, and it's not coercive by any means. And both people end up much happier because of the relationship, because of the interaction. That's what good sales is. And like it's like maybe even the pareto distribution that like it's absolutely true in real estate and probably most pursuits that like 10% of the people make 90% of the money. Most of the people who are in it casually or not as a side gig or something like this, and they're, not gonna be successful. So part of it's like finding the right people, but yeah.
You strike me too. You're someone that studies your craft, I think.
Oh,
like
absolutely.
You pick something and you like really go into it, right?
Yeah.
See, what happens with me, I'm someone like that too. But then I assume everyone does that.
Yeah.
So then you just reminded me everyone doesn't.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Most
Like when
don't.
I was working my 9 to 5, and I mean, most people do work 9 to 5s, but when I became an entrepreneur, I assume everyone's entrepreneurs now. But
Yeah.
it's not true. Like I don't know. There must be some sort of term for that.
Yeah.
But
it's like you want to relate to people, or you just think your own interactions are like other people's as well. And sometimes it's true. A lot of times there is like, I don't know, repetition throughout. I don't know if that repetition is the right word, but like what you're experiencing is also what other people are experiencing. And that probably is the case, but when you do certain pursuits like entrepreneurship or most ultra difficult things, there's only a select people who are. So maybe there are a lot of people who relate with you, but the majority of people won't.
So it could be lonely in that journey.
Yeah,
Because
absolutely.
97% of people aren't going to live that way.
Yeah.
And the model of how they live is different.
Yeah.
And everything, it's really the polar opposite. So that's been interesting because I've done a lot of like the solo travel across the country and stuff.
Yeah.
And still, I'm very picky of my circle because it's your time and it's their
important.
time.
Yeah.
I respect, I don't think I'm better than anyone. I just do the best I can do, and I'm consistent, and I work
Yeah.
hard, and I have a good mindset.
That's all you can do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so when I see other people, I'm not like saying, I speak my truth. Like I hate jobs because I have one and I was miserable and I made
Yeah.
shitty pay and
Yeah.
my boss was a dick. Right?
Yeah.
And I just speak that way, and people were
Yeah.
right, and some people say, oh, well, I have a job, and that's okay. But I'm just speaking how I am, right?
Yeah.
But I think the big thing, the big thing is those concepts. If you surround yourself with similar people and people that not only am I getting value, but how, can I give to Joe on his podcast? Can he give to me? And then this is going to share. It's going to cause a ripple effect.
Yeah.
Or in conversations, I went to an NLP event. I won't say which one, and it was all about
What's NLP?
neuro-linguistic programming. So it's how your mind works and how we think in pictures, the map of your brain, and how you can tailor that to your own success, your body language, communication, all that stuff.
Yeah.
And a lot of people at this event, it was weird. They're trying to get from people, and the whole guy up there, like my concept is like giver's gain. There's the law of cause and effect. What you or
Yeah.
call it karma. What you put out comes back, and I don't expect it. Like if I go do a favor for you out of my heart,
Yeah.
I don't expect, oh, you're gonna buy me a coffee next time. I just know I did good.
Yeah, but
You know,
if you go in with like a transactional mindset that I'm doing this because you're going to eventually give me
That's
something.
trading.
Yeah.
that's trading, and it's not giving. And
Yeah.
in business, I get it. Like sometimes, like if you have clients and you leave me one, I give you $1,000 or
Yeah.
something, then that's a trade, and we
Yeah,
agreed on
it's
that.
an even trade.
But he was saying like, they all look at humans as I'm going in to get something, and they're asking questions about like going behind people's backs and using this they call it technology, right? Using this technology to get from people versus just I raised my hand to the guy and I just asked him, how sometimes you ask a question but you know the answer. I don't know, I do this sometimes.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Just to see like his train of thought to make sure
Yeah.
that I heard that right. So I was like, I've grown like 2 businesses, multi-6 figures from nothing, all based on giving and like providing value. And the amount of value that you provide is the amount of income you earn. The service you put out comes back to you. So you're telling me that is that the right way to do it? And he's like, well, I don't live that way. I go in, how do I get? And I was like, all right, so our model, the reason I feel so off is our model is different.
Yeah.
How we live is different. So our morals and values are different.
Yeah.
So we're not going to get along.
Like you already know what you believe. You asked this question to see how he believes it.
Yeah. And then when you ask that question, you can see in the room,
Yeah.
everyone that's like, to him, they all know that they think that way too. Yeah. So I'm staying away from all you guys. Yeah. But there's
Wow.
some solid people too that thought like that approach.
It's interesting because people can have success doing that when they only think about what I can get from the world. But I can't imagine it lasts long term. I think it's got to be short lived in those ways because maybe you have short term success. Maybe you're charismatic and can convince people to do things negatively. But I think, like you said karma. I think that's a real thing. That whatever energy you're putting out there, it's going to come back to you. So if you have this giving mindset, you're going to people are going to give to you just naturally. If you have this taking mindset, things are going to be taken from
People
you.
pick up on that.
Yeah.
If I go to network and I'm trying to sell everyone on my business, they're going to go get away from me. But if I go, like I just approach, go make friends.
Yeah.
I don't even go social media, networking, people I meet.
Yeah.
It's literally just to make friends.
Yeah.
And then they fall into like a category. Okay, they could be a client. I could be a client of theirs. They could just be a friend. We could work out together. Like, so I have no intentions. But people pick up, so subconsciously can pick up on, even without knowing, subconsciously, unconsciously.
Yeah.
So the feeling, they pick up on that, the energy behind it, like walking into a room and you could be like, oh, like people call it like the vibe, right?
Yeah.
I don't want to be here, or that something's off about that person.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't want that. You want to be like, oh, I hung out with Joe, I hung out with Dana, and you know, I want to hang out with them more.
Yeah.
That's the energy behind it. So they can have success, and it depends on your definition, like we talked about. If your definition is money and doing that, you can have a lot of success. But then we're talking about Tony Robbins, success, failure. Success without fulfillment is the ultimate failure. Yeah, success without fulfillment is the ultimate failure. So there's success and achievement, those things, but then there's fulfillment, and that's a failing.
Yeah.
If you have money and all that, and you don't feel fulfilled, you're fucked.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know how else to say it.
No, exactly.
It's not a
you
good
could
road.
work 16 hours a day and become ultra successful in this thing, thinking that money is going to eventually make you happy. But if the thing you're working at 16 hours a day absolutely fucking sucks, you're going to realize that, like, you think like all of a sudden once I get to this point, then I'm going to feel good. It's not the case. You got to feel good along the way. And I think that's the people that become ultra successful, is that the process feels good and they're having fun in what they're doing.
That's the key.
Yeah. It's like about fun. It's difficult to find something that you can have fun and make money at. I don't think that's easy at all. And I think often there's like steps. Sometimes you got to put in that work of shit that I don't like to find something that I do like, you know? And I think you grow in that process as well.
Yeah. Success over the big thing is people that do the things that other people don't want to do. Failures, successful people do the things that failures don't want to do. The common denominator of success. So like, some of these guys take it to the extreme, but at the end of the day, it's like going live on Facebook or going to that event.
Yeah.
Or, like if we just always just did the things we wanted, then we wouldn't be uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And you can only grow when you're uncomfortable. So it's like when I talk about it this way, it's like so simple.
Yeah.
But it's like some people you gotta drill it in somehow and stuff like that. So it is doing the things that make you. But I heard your other podcast about like the other part about letting go. There's that side, recovery, all that stuff physically as well.
Sure. Yeah.
That's like my struggle now is I go to the gym and I work out like a beast.
Yeah.
And I'm sore for like 3 days. I
Yeah.
can't think.
Yeah.
Like I can barely walk, and I'm like
Yeah.
hanging out with people and they don't understand. And I'm
Yeah.
like, I can't, like the body will
encumbering
impact
other
the
parts
mind
of
as
your
much
life.
as the mind impacts the body. It's
For
connected,
sure.
right?
Yeah.
So I'm like focused on rest days, or I can go to the gym and I don't have to go
Kill
so
yourself.
hard and kill myself physically. Like long term, you know, when I'm 45, 55, 65, I want to have a longevity in a body and health.
Absolutely.
That's the number one thing, like we talked
sure.
about. So like
100%.
it's like a balance. In entrepreneurship, I don't like the word balance that much, at least where I'm at, because I definitely work a little more than I do the other stuff.
Yeah.
But it is implementing, understanding that we exist on different planes of existence, spiritually, emotionally, intellectually, and physically, right? So spiritually, I ask myself, like, what's one thing I'm doing on a daily basis? Like maybe it's meditation, maybe it's praying, I don't know.
jerking off.
Then losing my, that's in Napoleon Hill, Sex with Transmutation. Have you read that?
Sex with what?
Sex Transmutation.
Okay, no.
It's a funny chapter in Napoleon Hill.
Oh, really? I think I've read that book a long time ago, but I don't remember that.
You gotta read it again.
Yeah.
That's a whole concept, but it's simply without people being like, oh, you know, because people aren't gonna like it.
Yeah.
It's using, so sex energy is very powerful. So you can use that and go hook up with girls.
Yeah.
Or vice versa. One can hook up with guys. I'll talk about guys. You can go do that and you can waste it that way. Like just go party and all that. Or you can like focus that energy towards like business. So it's like the whole, if you can not do that as much, you can refocus that energy. Energy management essentially. But
Yeah.
it's how do you transmit that energy is what it's in that book. So that book is, it's created the most millionaires, but it's not a book about just getting rich. It's a book about concepts. He interviewed over 500 of the most successful people in the 1900s, combined it into a book. It's about riches in all areas, which I don't think most people will say balance, but I really don't think people have it in all areas. I think it takes a lot more time and focus and work to be like, oh, my health is on point. I have good wealth or finances. I have a good relationship. And maybe that can happen later. Like I'm definitely focused on my career now.
Yeah.
Because I want to do that. So
You
then
have to
later
give,
on.
yeah, you have to give ultra attention in certain things
Yeah.
sometimes.
So some people say balance, but at the end of the day, if I balanced my business, I wouldn't be in business.
Yeah,
Right now,
exactly.
at least. But then
Yeah.
you can automate and you can get employees. So it's all about like people's personal situations as well.
Yeah.
So like some stuff I say won't relate to some people, and some people it will.
And maybe balance, like people are thinking too short term. You're thinking balance throughout your day when maybe it's balanced throughout your life. I work extremely hard in my 20s so I can be,
Right.
be extremely leisurely in my later life. And it's balanced throughout the entirety of the life. If you're just, half your day is leisure when you're 20 years old, able-bodied, have all this natural energy. When you're not able-bodied, health is issues, just more difficult to sustain that. Now your finances aren't doing well and you have to work all these more hours where it's physically more difficult on your body. So maybe it's like looking too short-term of what balance is.
Yeah, it's a fine line. Like health first, like all that stuff. Like I had to put my career, my family's always first, but like I'm doing it for my family and friends. Maybe they don't see it at times.
Yeah.
But it's like you and I develop ourselves so we can give more. So you have to be selfish 100% first.
100%.
So that you can be who you are.
Yeah.
Because if you're not who you are, most people don't know, then what the hell's going on in this world?
Exactly.
This guy, I'm running around, I'm Dana, and I don't know my passions. I don't know what I want to do. I'm miserable in my job, and I'm paying over Bill, who hates his life.
Yeah.
It's like it's not a solid crew.
Bill.
I hate Bill.
Do you have a Bill?
Bill, if you're watching
Yeah.
this, Bill Gates.
Yeah, my stepdad's name is Bill. He's a great guy. He's a great guy.
I said Brad.
Yeah,
Dude.
Brad. Fucking Brad. I don't think I know any Brads.
Isn't that a term? Like, don't be a Brad.
Yeah, I think so, right? Or a Chad.
Oh, a Chad.
Yeah, a Chad. Yeah.
Chad. We'll say that.
Yeah.
No one likes Chad.
Yeah.
Ocho Cinco.
Exactly. Yeah. Although he seems like a pretty cool guy.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. For me, recovery has been yoga. Have you ever tried yoga?
Yes, I'm so happy you said that. I need to get more into that.
Oh, dude, it's so nice. Yeah, my
What kind of yoga do you do?
I'll do Bikram yoga, or I just go to a hot yoga gym, and so sometimes it's Bikram, which is a very specific set. It's like they call it 26 and 2. It's 26 postures and 2 breathing exercises. So it's always the same exact thing. And so you do it over and over, and it's 90 minutes is what it is. Sometimes they do 75 minutes, but his original creation was a 90-minute class. But they'll also do flow yogas, and which is typically the instructor or teacher has a flow, which yoga is a million different postures. And typically what I think it is like whatever is hurting in the instructor's body, they take a flow that like kind of helps them, and it helps the whole class. And so, because often a lot of people, they have tight hips, or, their wrists are tight or whatever it is. And so they'll go take you through a flow, and it's super nice because it's extremely difficult workout, especially the 90-minute Bikram thing. It's fucking tough. The very first time that I went, I thought I was going for some casual stretching. I thought I was going to be relaxed. About 45 minutes into it, I thought I was going to fucking pass out. I was like, I might go unconscious right here, because I'm also trying to push myself and not give up. And a lot of people, even the most experienced people, will lay down and just pause out throughout it because it's extremely difficult. And so I'm trying to keep going, and I'm like, I might fucking go unconscious here. But for me, what it's become is like an excellent complement to like how I work out in my majority of my life. And it's a workout in and of itself, but I feel so good when I do it. And I'm doing it consistently enough now that like if I take a week off or something, like I feel it in my body. And when I'm doing it consistently throughout the week, my body feels so much better.
So much overall better. In Bali, people don't do weights, the guys. They're all had 12 packs.
Wow.
8 packs probably,
Yeah.
not 12. But because of the food, because of they don't do weights, they do handstands. Like they literally like do flips on their hands and stuff.
Wow.
Like nuts, all of them. And
Yeah.
I was like going crazy because I'm a weightlifter. I'll do yoga sometimes. They do yoga too. But they're all ripped. But they have like, man buns and ponytails. You can imagine
Yeah.
it. And a big thing there is the yoga. A big thing there is like the longevity. They're focused on mobility and movements, not like, I can lift 400 pounds and deadlift and break my back.
Yeah, exactly.
That's an American thing.
Yeah, it is for sure.
It really is.
Yeah.
So like I'm actually I'm working on that because my Lifetime has they have warrior scope, they have flow, they have recovery, they have one when you just sit there. It's the hardest thing ever.
No, you just sit there.
In Bali, they had one when you're like doing these little like stretches, and I was like, it was harder than weightlifting for me.
Wow.
Like you're like stretching your arm,
Yeah.
and like in a weird pose, and you're holding yourself up, and
Yeah.
I was like, I wasn't gonna. I thought about giving up multiple times.
Yeah.
And it's hot.
Yeah.
Like, it's no joke, dude.
Try a 26 or a 90-minute 26 and 2. The first whole part of it is the standing series. By the time you're almost done with it, it feels like you've been running sprints and you're just standing in one location. It's extremely difficult.
Yeah. Yoga's, I'm going to add that to my list.
Your to-do list? Yeah. There's a place like over here that I could recommend that's pretty good. But we're coming close now. I've actually got somewhere to be at noon. I think we've got a pretty good amount of time and about an hour and a half. Are you local now?
Yeah.
Like, are you going to be in Arizona for a while?
9 months.
9 months? Okay.
Well, I'm facing that thing going on. But yeah, 9 months in Arizona. Maybe I'll travel a little bit. I have like, I go into Dallas and stuff.
Yeah.
But
Well, now that you're close, I'd love to have you on more times. That was a really fun conversation.
yeah,
Yeah, I'm sure there's much more that we could talk about too.
a lot.
Yeah.
We have a lot to dive into.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'd love to have you on more. Is there any like social media or anything you want to shout out? Your business or anything?
Social media, Instagram is the Dana Silvestri. So just THEDANASILVESTRI. You can search me on Facebook. I post a lot of content that just I put out and it helps people and share what's going on. So if you liked anything we talked about, you probably like my channel and also with business. And then website is thedanasilvestri.com. So just excited if you guys listen to this, give me a follow. I'll talk to you and maybe we'll become friends.
Nice. Well, sounds good, brother. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, cool. That was fun.
Yeah, that's good.